What's up, friends? It's been a while since I've been on YouTube. I'm sorry for that. The truth of the matter is the last few years of my life have just been crazy busy with my music business, and I also, for the last 10 years, have worked at a church, and between those two things, my life has just been crazy, and I haven't been able to focus on, social media content as much as I'd like to. And I know that's such a huge, crucial part of the music business these days, but for me, it's really been something that I haven't focused a ton on. I've always just focused more on creating art, writing songs and trying to put them out, or writing songs and hoping somebody else puts them out, all that good stuff. So for the last, several years of my life, that's really all I focused on is playing out, writing songs, and working at this church. And somewhere along the way, I realized that I wasn't being as creative as I wanted to be anymore. And so about 3 months ago, I came to the conclusion that I was doing everything I wanted to be doing, and every bit of it was successful. The music side of things is going great. Just got back, in September, we went to Denmark to play, songs that I wrote. I'm a nobody. I don't have any major cuts of any kind. But I get invited to go to a songwriter festival across, in Denmark, and somehow there were people there that wanted to listen to these songs that, from some nobody like me, which I thought was beautiful and amazing. And it reminded me why I do what I do in the first place, why I wrote these songs in the first place, because it doesn't matter if they're hit songs or they were cuts for some major artist. Somebody in the world might connect with them. And when they do, it's a beautiful thing. And it showed me that on whatever scale I'm doing music on, people will always connect with music because music's a universal language. And it was just such a beautiful thing to see, especially in Denmark. They love music in Denmark. They love singer-songwriters in Denmark. And I cannot wait to go back, to be completely honest. But also in the church world, for the last almost 24 years of my life, I have worked in a church. I don't know what it's like to not work in a church, to be completely honest with you. But 3 months ago, I put in my resignation, and as of this last Sunday, that was my last day working for a traditional ministry in a church setting. I was the worship minister there. That means I played music and helped schedule all the musicians and all that stuff. And it was an amazing time. And like I said, both sides of the coin, the music business part of my life and the ministry part of my life, were both growing and doing really well. I'm not leaving because, I didn't leave because I was upset so much as I was more upset that I wanted to create more, and all of my time was starting to cut into my creative process, right? As the church grew, my responsibilities grew. As my music business grew, my responsibilities there grew, which means everything turns into a logistical nightmare. And for creatives, logistics is a horrible thing, right? Like it stresses me out to no end when I have a whole week full of stuff and I feel like I'm spending hours on logistics and scheduling and all that stuff. And then I sit down to try to write a song, and all my brain does is go, "Oh, I got to be able to get this person here, and then what if this person, can't be here this weekend, and I got to find another drummer? I'm gonna have to call like 5 people and hope I find a drummer at the last second." All these things are going through your mind when you're sitting down trying to create. And I realized that I couldn't keep giving full-time hours to 2 things. At some point, you got to basically you got to change something, right? And I basically sat down and had some conversations with my wife, had some conversations with some of my mentors. You need those, by the way. Some really close friends, some people in the church. And I just said, "Hey, this is what's going on in my life. I don't know what's next, but I feel like I'm being called to leave, even though everything's going great, going through the roof." And then, I had that glooming question of, is this just a midlife crisis? I turned 40 last year in March, and I'm going, is this just a midlife crisis? That's why you put good people around you, right? You put solid mentors in your life that have been through some things, so that when you feel like you might be going through something, you can bounce ideas off of them. And everybody I talked to said, no, I think, life is seasons. And you might just be in a season of life where it's time for you to try something new, so that you can get passionate and fired up again. And so I decided, I had to basically decide whether I was going to just continue to go all in on my music career, or do I continue to work in this church that's growing and doing great. But it wouldn't be fair to them for me to continue to try to do a full-time thing on the side when they need all the help they can get while this machine is growing, So I just kind of came to the conclusion, after a lot of prayers and a lot of conversations, that I've done ministry for the last 24 years in a traditional capacity. Maybe it's time to just see what happens outside of a traditional church setting, and play music and write music and be as creative as I possibly can, and gig more and be out in that world a little bit more and see what happens. So that's kind of where we're at, right? Had a pretty big decision to make, and I made it. 3 months ago, I resigned. Last Sunday was my last Sunday at church. So here I am trying to start being as creative as I can be. And I've got, just right now, the season of music that I'm in is amazing. I currently play guitar for my best friend. His name is Noah Smith. If you want to check out his music, you can check it out. I've written some songs for him over the years. He's written some songs for me over the years, and vice versa. We've co-written hundreds of songs at this point. We just got back from Sandusky. The last show of the year for me was going to be playing guitar for New Year's Eve in Sandusky, of which I got to sound check one song before we got canceled, which, if you know anything about being on the road, you know that stuff happens. We got, this is the third show in the last year that has been canceled due to wind. In almost 25 years of gigging, I've never seen us get canceled that many times for wind. I don't know what's going on in the world that causes all the wind, but stop it. It's canceling all my shows, man. I just want to play the guitar and sing, and the wind wouldn't let me do it. But we had a good time in Sandusky. Noah's crew is amazing. His band is amazing. I am blessed to play with those guys every chance I get. His crew is unbelievable. It's a well-oiled machine, and everybody loves each other. And in a band setting, that is a hard thing to do, to find 9 guys and girls that can stay in a van together for days, maybe a couple weeks, staying at hotels, in this case, getting cold and rained on and snowed on, and sound checking, hoping that your hands don't freeze up before you have to play your show. And we loved every second of it, and we had a blast together. That's a special thing, because I've played in a lot of bands where it wasn't that closeness wasn't there. So as far as just like being able to play, and I get to play music with my best friend. Who gets to do that? It makes me extremely happy. So I'm going to continue to do that in any capacity that I can do it, because I feel insanely grateful that I get to share a stage with my best friend every night. It's unbelievable. And then as far as like solo music and stuff goes, I've got a new song getting ready to come out. You guys are the first person to hear about it. February 7th, I got a brand new song coming out. It's called Lean. And I really believe in this song. I wrote it with my friend Noah Smith. It's kind of become the anthem for my life moving forward. Because it's all about faith. It's all about just leaning into something that you can't see, and trusting that, that God's going to be there when you don't have any stability. You don't feel like you have any foundation maybe. And I'm kind of feeling that way. Like my whole life, a lot of my paycheck has come from a church. And now all of that stable money is gone. Everything that I will make from this point on will be based on how many gigs I book. And if those get canceled or whatever, for whatever reasons, sometimes you don't get paid those weeks. So there's no guarantees in the music business. There never has been, there never will be. If you're looking to go into the music business, just remember, like, there is no safety net here. So sometimes you got to lean into something a little that you can hold on to. And that's really all that song's about. Lean. It's coming out February 7th. Just wanted to let you guys know that. But really, I just wanted to come on here and share my heart a little bit, because I'm going to just be doing these all the time. Like whenever I feel like pulling the phone up and just talking, I'm not going to edit them. If I ramble, I'm sorry. If, guitar's out of tune, I'm sorry. I don't have a mic set up. I don't have a cool light set up or anything like that. I'm just here talking about stuff that I love to talk about. I'll probably talk a lot about songwriting and creating art. I'll talk about what's amazing about playing music. I'll talk about what's horrible about playing music, what sucks about the music business. Obviously, because I've worked the last 24 years in church, I'm probably going to talk about all the cool things that happen working in the church. And I might talk about the stuff that nobody wants you to talk about when you're working in a church. Because unfortunately, there's just as much, it's just like any other industry out there. There's good people, there's bad people, there's good things that happen, there's bad things that happen. If you're looking for a perfect job on this planet, you're really not going to find one. There's always going to be ups and downs. Things are always going to get hard. And that's kind of where I'm at with the whole thing. This 2024 was probably the most challenging year of my life. Not just because, two things were going, in an up direction and starting to kind of converge on each other. Like that was just a decision of time. Like, these are both really great things. Where do I want to spend my time? But some really awful things happened in 2024. My wife and I were in a really bad car accident. Our car burned to the ground. All my gear was in it. And there were some other folks in that accident that got hurt pretty bad. And they both we all ended up walking out of there. And I look back at that day and it's really hard to fathom how everybody's in good shape after that. But that stuff takes a toll on you mentally. And it was just a really rough season of life for my wife and I. I hope I get a lot of good songs out of it. I'm looking forward to writing those. And then, just like I said, there were many things this year that, for the first time in my life, it made me start to think, what are the things that you want to do in your life? What are the things that you want to accomplish? And if you don't have the time to do those, how do you make the time? What's the most important thing to you? I've experienced a ton of grief in my life. I lost both my parents at a young age. So basically everything I've ever had to do in my life, I had to do on my own, or I had to trust some people and hope that they were trustworthy, because there's a lot of people out there that want to take advantage of somebody that, that doesn't know anything about the world. And when I was young, I was kind of like that. And the music business loves people like that. They love to be like, he doesn't know anything. Let's treat him horrible. And he won't know it because we're telling him all these great things that are going to happen within the music business. He's going to get a record deal and it's, we're going to tell him it's going to change his life. And, we know what a lot of record deals do. I have so many friends that have horror stories galore about their record deal. Every once in a while, though, somebody comes out with a great deal. All the stars align. Their team's great. They put out a couple hits, able to hold on to their masters and hold on to their publishing rights. am able to have a really great career, right? But that's life, man. Sometimes there's good and bad in all of it, and you got to find your way through it. And the best way to do that is to find some really great people that you can surround yourself with in life. And I've been able to do that. I've been blessed to do that because I've had to do that. Also, like, I don't know what your belief in, God is. This channel's not really about that, right? But it's who I am. Like, my faith is a part of who I am. It's a part of the music that I make. Even if the songs aren't super vertical about God or Jesus or whatever, there's a lot of hope and faith around the songs that I write and play, and the way that I conduct myself with others. My faith's a huge part of that. I don't know what you believe about that, and that's okay too. Like, you may think I'm a total idiot for believing that, and awesome, great. But I will say this: as a creator, it's always been hard for me to think that something came from nothing, right? Whether you believe in Jesus or Buddha or, whatever deity, checks your box, whatever, whichever one. The thing that I've always had the hardest thing, or the hardest thing to wrestle with is I don't think that something can come from nothing. I can't drop this pen on my piece of paper a million billion times and think that a song is going to come out, right? Like, I physically have to write a song. Like, it has to come out of me. There has to be a creator to create that song. It doesn't just happen. So I look at it like there's two paradigms in this world. There's either a creator or there isn't. And I don't know what you think about that, and that's cool. Everybody's entitled to believe what they want to believe, and in my case, I believe that there's a creator, and everything creative that I do comes from the fact that he put a whole bunch of things around me to inspire me to create, because he loves to create, right? That's kind of my vibe, man. If that's not your vibe, that's cool too. Maybe it can be your vibe one day, maybe not. But we can still be friends and hang out, right? But yeah, so I'm just going to be on here talking about whatever floats my boat, and maybe it'll float your boat. I love to talk about songs and songwriting, and I'll probably throw a ton of that stuff in here. I love to tell stories, so I'm probably going to have some other stuff on this channel where I just tell crazy stories from the road. Because that's at its essence, that's my favorite thing in the world, is to tell stories. I love to joke around. I love to write songs about real things that happen, and I think people connect with that. So hopefully you'll check out my channel. This is a great time for you to hit the like button, subscribe so you can actually see these videos if you think this might be something you'd be interested in watching. But this is just me being as honest as I can be anytime I'm on here. I'll share stuff I'm working on, songs I'm working on, all that good stuff. I just want to be an open book, and whatever opportunities come from that, I'm looking forward to seeing what the future holds and what doors might open. So if you want to watch my midlife crisis unfold, this is a great way to do it, because that's really what this is about. So thank you for watching this video. If you made it all the way through my rambling, thank you. I'm new to this. And like I said, I'm not going to edit this. So if this is a horrible video, hopefully they'll get better. If not, you don't have to tune in. This is free. But I would love if you would. I'd love if you check out my music. All my music is under Matthew Douglas Simpson, just like this channel. Share it with your friends. Maybe it'll speak to you, or maybe it won't, but maybe it'll speak to one of your friends. So send it along either way. But yeah, that's all I got. Thank y'all so much for paying attention to this video. I'm looking forward to 2025, and I hope you'll come along on this journey with me. All right, midlife crisis, here we go.